Hi, it's Willow here. I am going to attempt to do a video today, even though the level of manufactured terror and panic and mayhem that's going on is very difficult to communicate through. It's very difficult to penetrate this wall of panic static that's, hovering around our minds, our brains, and our, the communicative function. But I'm gonna do my best, okay? I'm gonna do my best. I made the mistake of trying to do my weekly shopping today, and just in the past few days, the full mayhem, the panic buying has hit my town. And so the grocery stores were absolute zoos of panicked people with, shopping carts heaped to the nines, toilet paper. The toilet paper thing, I don't fully get that, but okay. Stocking up like mad people on the toilet paper. So I've written an article about what I think is going on here. I think that this is an orchestrated event. I think that this now I don't I think there's evidence that this isn't a complete hoax. There's something going on, right? So is it a virus that has been intentionally unleashed on us? Is it 5G wireless that's causing the health damage and it's being blamed on the virus? We don't know. We don't know, right? The thing that this is teaching us, though, is the absolute locked down mental mind control that the powers that be have over the mass public through the mainstream media, okay? All they need to do is absolutely saturate mass media with a certain issue, and it's almost inescapable, right? Even someone who actively tries to escape mainstream media and manipulated situations like this, here I am talking about it, right? Which I kind of resent, frankly. I kind of resent the imposition on our, on my minds and other subjects that I could be talking about. So we're in a crazy situation, and it's a manipulated situation. It's an orchestration. We know that there was a global pandemic drill in New York City in October 2019. I wrote about it on the blog. There's videos about it on YouTube. So we know that they were sort of preparing for this. We also know that drills are very common ahead of orchestrated events like this. Okay, often it's a mass shooting, or it's a some type of traumatic mass event, traumatic event in public. This time the drill was ahead of I'm gonna use the term my Sharona, because apparently the certain videos are being flagged for talking about what's the name of what's going on. So anyway, oh sorry, my brain is just like I said, it's difficult to penetrate this wall of panic even when you see it very clearly. It's hard. I'm not feeling panicked myself, but I'm feeling like pressure and pain, or not pain, but pressure and confusion. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're using some type of frequency to enhance the panic and to block people from thinking about anything else, There's also like some rage kind of stirring up as well. So yeah, I really do believe we're in the era of energy weapons being used against the population, and yes, we certainly are, right? Okay, so the Event 201 global pandemic drill was what went on in October 2019. That was kind of the precursor to what was going on, and a big emphasis in that drill was how they were going to lock down media and how they were going to stop any alternative information from getting out, right? They wanted everyone looking to the World Health Organization through the United Nations, right? So they wanted everyone looking to the sort of the global governance, the global government bodies, right? The hyper-controlled Agenda 21, Agenda 2030 bodies. That's what they want people looking to, and only those bodies. And really the lockstep coordination is unbelievable, because I mean, like I say, I live in kind of the middle of nowhere, and it's all coming down. This is going on everywhere, all across the world. You know, they're all putting in place the directives that are coming from the top of the pyramid scheme on down, right? And the level of compliance, the level of control is unbelievable to me. I don't know if the powers that be even could have imagined that they would have as much success as they really are having, right? Except with the people that see through this type of stuff. And those are the people that I'm really talking to right now. That's one of the people that I am. Okay, the other thing that happened in October 2019 was that 5G was rolled out in the location where my Sharona was said to have originated. Okay, and so again, there's this element of how much of this health damage is being caused by 5G. How much of it is being caused by the virus? Is there a combination of the two going on? We don't know that. All I know is that this is a heavily manipulated, heavily orchestrated global event that is being rolled out basically as a drill to see what level of control the powers that be really do have. And again, whether there are any leaks, whether there are any holes, whether there are any areas they need to tighten up. And one of the things that came up in the global pandemic drill, the event 201, was they needed to lock down social media because they didn't want social media to be to be giving out any information that wasn't the official line on My Sharona, right? And so some of the things that were suggested in that simulation, that pandemic simulation, was limited shutdowns of the entire internet to try to control information, censoring people's social media, and arresting people for spreading misinformation around this subject. Okay, so the control of information was a big element, right? And I mean, you can see it. That's why people are in such an absolute, utter, sheer panic, because the mainstream media has been absolutely saturated with this topic and is generating this panic buying, right? That isn't even really fully logical when you really think about it. You know, the toilet paper stockpiling, like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not really going to go into that, but it's next level. Okay, it's next level. So this feeds into the topic of this video, which actually isn't My Sharona, and I'm trying to not feed into that topic as much as possible, because of course these topics are also used as a distraction from other more critical issues that are going on, right? They block everyone, you know, everyone has blinders on, and it sort of blocks any other issues from coming up. So the broader topic of this video is censorship in general and the intense level of censorship that is coming down on us right now. And it so is. I have a long history of being censored, starting from the time I was about 20 years old. And I've actually written an article about that. I made a zine about that. And I've also done a YouTube video on that. It's called Mercury, Black Moon, Lilith Contacts, Censorship and Reporting from the Fringes, if anybody wants to see it. So this is sort of an update, a 2020 update on the censorship situation, and also just a look at kind of the broader situation that's going on. Okay, so I've already been censored twice in 2020. Keeping up a pretty good pace. Yeah, good. Pretty proud of myself there. And the weird thing about it is that, well, not so weird, but what's going on is that it's actually fellow citizens, like other citizens, just regular people, who are censoring me and who are censoring information. So it's really kind of the situation where, like, the powers that be don't even have to be monitoring every little angle. They have like foot soldiers out there doing it for them, right? And ultimately that's the scheme. So the first censorship I had this year was I'm a fluoroquinolone antibiotic victim, I guess you'd call it. I'm a person who has a long-term debilitating health condition caused by an adverse drug reaction to the antibiotic Cipro, which is a fluoroquinolone antibiotic, which are very, very dangerous, very, very toxic and potentially deadly antibiotics, just FYI. And so I've been writing about that subject for 10 years now. I've done YouTube videos on it. I've done, a lot of work on it. So I did a compilation article of things that had helped me to recover over the past 10 years. And I have a permanent situation, but this was what had helped me to recover as much as I have recovered, which is quite substantial, quite a substantial amount of recovery. So I wrote a compilation article about the things that had helped me. And I asked my mother to post it on major fluoroquinolone Facebook group called Fluoroquinolone Toxicity Group. And it has like 10,000 members. I was a member of this group at the time. Anyway, my mother was blocked from posting this article because the stated reason was because it mentioned fluoride and religion. Lunacy. Okay, so the only thing I said about fluoride, number one, fluoroquinolones are infused with fluorine, which is a known neurotoxin. And so, of course, it's one of the elements of fluoroquinolone poisoning. So the fact that a fluoroquinolone toxicity group is blocking people from talking about the ill effects of fluoride is really, really crazy. All I said about fluoride in the video, though, was that Berkey water filtration systems have filters that you can buy that will filter out fluoride as well. That's all I said about fluoride in there. I never mentioned religion once. There was a small section in the article, which was a substantial, long article with multiple sections. I had one little section that said spiritual faith, and I had a disclaimer on there that atheists can skip this section, okay? But that is one of the things that has helped me, right? Is spiritual faith and spiritual philosophizing around it, I guess. But again, this is the level of censorship that's going on. You're not even allowed. I will also say that I have a staunch atheist as a reader, as a regular reader. And this staunch atheist said to me that it was ridiculous that this article was rejected because as a staunch atheist, he/she, I'm not giving away the gender, felt that it was completely inoffensive and innocuous. So in other words, I wasn't shoving anything down anyone's throat, et cetera, right? It was just a very, very small part of the article. Okay, but this is just going to show you this was not rejected by the powers that be at Facebook. It was rejected by the administrators of this fluoroquinolone toxicity group, right? I've also noticed that group does not like anything political being posted. So if you're trying to sort of out Bayer, for example, or Johnson & Johnson, or if you're trying to sort of expose their like nefarious histories or their nefarious activities, none of that's allowed too. Well, again, that to me, that's crazy to have that as a rule in a fluoroquinolone toxicity group, that we're not trying to expose the people who have poisoned us and stolen our health. Like that to me is just beyond. But okay, so that was the situation. That was my first censorship. The second censorship that happened followed shortly afterwards, and it just happened a week ago or so ago. And it was around the time of the anniversary of the beginning of the Fukushima nuclear disaster, which is an ongoing disaster. It has never been dealt with, never been cleaned up, it's constantly putting out new radioactive isotopes into the air, into the water, into the environment for 9 long years now. At the time of the anniversary, I usually do a little bit of a ramp up, right? And I start posting more information about Fukushima and some of the old research, like some of the little, tidbits of research that might create an aha moment in someone's mind, like where they're thinking, oh, this is like a bigger deal than I've been led to believe, and I actually do need to look into this. So I started posting on the Fukushima subreddit. They call it a subreddit at the site Reddit. reddit.com. And reddit.com is kind of like this main, like really popular message board site. And I've never had a good experience posting on this site. So, this is kind of like par for the course. But the last time I posted an article that I had done on Fukushima, and it was when when the fact that Fukushima fallout was found in California wine, when that was hitting the media and there was a big stir about it. I was basically putting into context and saying, well, we've been finding Fukushima fallout in food like for the past 8 years, like for the entire duration of the situation. So the fact that it's showing up in California wine should not be surprising or alarming to any. Well, it should be alarming to people, but I mean, it shouldn't be surprising to anybody at this juncture, right? I posted that article, and I noticed that I was just swarmed with like pro-nuclear individuals, to the point, like with the tenacity and the like vehemence, to the point that I thought for certain this person has to be paid, right? It was one person in particular that I just thought, like, who's just sitting on Reddit and is just pouncing on every possible article about Fukushima, because this person was just, just relentless in trying to paint the picture that everything's okay at Fukushima, and it's all lies that people are telling as far as the fact that there's any danger related to it. And then also when I posted that article, my article ended up getting plagiarized very obviously. And the person, I called the person on it, and he vehemently denied it, even though he had inadvertently posted a hyperlink to a previous article from my site in the pilfered text that he took. Okay, so let's just say I've had a really shitty time posting on Reddit, but I didn't really know what an alternative was, right? So this time I posted a bunch of, again, those like little aha moments, this research that has not really gotten any play. And the thing is, there used to be a news compilation site called enanews.com, and there were a lot of Fukushima researchers who kind of congregated around enanews.com. And it may have been a controlled opposition site, I'm not entirely sure, but there was just an immense amount of really good information and context coming there, and there were a bunch of commenters that would comment on the site. So there was this whole kind of community of Fukushima researchers. Anyway, that site got taken down, and then we were all kind of like left to our own devices. So anyway, I started posting some stuff on this Fukushima site, this subreddit, and it got to, some of the stuff was getting taken down. And I had noticed that there are these vehement, like, I would call them pro-nuclear trolls. Like, I cannot be convinced that they're not being paid, honestly, to sort of reinforce the official line while trying to discredit anyone who doesn't buy the official line. Anyway, so I was getting swarmed by these pro-nuclear trolls, and then I was having my posts taken down as well. And I'm thinking, like, what is going on here? So I do a little bit of digging, and I realize that the moderator of the site is pro-nuclear. It's a pro-nuclear moderator. At the very least, extremely soft on nuclear, okay? And then we have all these pro-nuclear trolls that are just like, honestly, like dry humping every article that's on there, to the point that nobody even wants to post on there anymore. There was one brave soul who was continuing to post, real information that was coming up about, like, the dangers and the problems related to Fukushima. And this person had just blocked the moderator and the trolls, and was just putting up with the fact that his posts would be removed, like, willy-nilly as well. So kudos to you, poster, for having the fortitude to continue posting on this heavily infiltrated Fukushima subreddit. So anyway, what happened was, and then the other thing that happened was that I realized one of the pro-nuke trolls was trying to get a rule passed that anything that was posted had to be from the past year. It couldn't be any older than 1 year, which is completely insane. because the entire situation, we just hit the 9-year anniversary on March 11th. March 11th, 2020 was the 9-year anniversary. Fukushima started March 11th, 2011. So for 9 long years now, any information that is, again, showing that this is a problem, this is dangerous, this has never been dealt with, this is a hazard to human health, a hazard to animal health, a hazard to, life on this planet in general. Any information like that has been covered up and has not hit the mainstream media with any degree of force. Certainly not saturating the mass media as much as, say, climate change or plastics in the ocean or my Sharona, right? So the fact that this person is trying to bury history, right, and bury the research that has been done as well. There are key pieces of research through that entire 9-year stretch that people have to understand in order to understand the full situation around Fukushima, okay? And in order to really be able to penetrate the blatant lies that were being told about this situation. And when you see these pieces of information, it's not hard to penetrate those lies. They're very obvious lies, okay? So we have these pro-nuke people who are trying to bury it, cover it over. Oh yeah, everything's fine. It's all cleaned up. Nothing to see here. No more threat to anything. Nuclear is perfectly safe. Nuclear is the best. It's mind-boggling to me how much this climate change hysteria has drilled into people's heads that nuclear is the safest and best option we have for power. I mean, it's unbelievable, but this is some of what's being regurgitated through the site as well. Nowhere on this site does it say expressly that it's a pro-nuclear subreddit, right? It's a pro-nuclear group. And to be quite frank, the vast majority of Fukushima researchers are not pro-nuclear. Okay, the vast majority of Fukushima researchers who are devoting their own time and energy to this for free over, almost a decade now, a lot of us, are not, we're not going to be, reinforcing the official line that nuclear is perfectly safe and we're just alarmists and, whatever else we're being told. So the fact that the tide has so obviously turned so intensely to pro-nuclear on this Fukushima subreddit is, something people should be aware of at the very least, right? So I tried to expose this censorship that was going on, both at that subreddit, and then at the conspiracy subreddit as well. The long arm of the law came down on me. The Reddit law came down on me, and one of the pro-nuclear individuals who was just relentless, the one that was trying to get the rule passed that no articles or no links could be posted that were older than 1 year, went and told on me to the moderator at the conspiracy subreddit. Oh Lord. And I got this cryptic, kind of creepy warning to stop prodding, stop doing what I was doing. And I was just like, seriously? This is the state of things? It was mind-boggling to me. So yeah, I went out in a blaze of glory by trying to post about this pro-nuclear, the pro-nuclear moderator, the pro-nuclear trolls, taking down people's research. And anyway, I ended up getting another warning or a talking to by the moderator of the Fukushima subreddit that certain people's links were not welcome because they're not of journalistic quality. And of course, some of the prime researchers some of the only people who are doing, their own kind of research and their own work on this subject were some of the people that they couldn't stand to have on this subreddit, right? So there's just this whole burying of the situation that's going on. And I wrote about it on my blog. I wrote the anniversary article is basically talking about how in these, hyper digitized times, certain subjects are just completely buried, and history is being buried at a way more rapid rate than it ever has been before, right? Because we're just inundated with information all the time, and we're inundated with official line information that is not accurate, is not true, and has an agenda associated with it. So anyway, long story short, well, long story long, we're already at 25 minutes of this video, but the situation is that I found an alternative. Okay, so the situation with Reddit is that it is just about to make its initial public offering, which basically means it's about to go public. It's about to become like a company that you can buy shares in. Okay, and so this is coinciding with an intense level of censorship. And so there's always been this censorship going on at Reddit. Well, I don't know about always, probably not when it first started, but over the past few years, there's been a lot of this kind of going on. But they just kind of took it to the next level, and they deleted like over 200 groups, over 200 subreddits. One of them was a Pizzagate subreddit, which is talking about pedophilia in high places, pedophilia in government, Hollywood, corporate music, the world of finance, royal families, etc. Right? The Epstein connection, all that type of stuff. So So Pizzagate is one of the things that has been removed from Reddit as they're preparing to become like an official corporation, right? Okay, so what I found recently, though, is an anti-censorship alternative. Okay, so a startup message board site that is an anti-censorship. They're very staunchly, at least expressly, anti-censorship. Okay, so it's more of a live and let live type of message board situation, and that message board site is called Ruqqus, Ruqqus.com, but it's spelled RUQQUS.com, and so I have set up, currently I've set up 4 guilds. They call them guilds instead of subreddits, the groups, right? Message board groups on Ruqqus.com. I've set up one for Fukushima, okay? So for information that, again, is being filtered out of the Fukushima subreddit on Reddit, and is being filtered out of, many sort of forums around that. I'm also not having any enforced scientism. So a lot of people like to censor anyone who's like an artist or an intuitive or somebody who's not a professional journalist or a professional scientist. So if they don't like their style or their their delivery, they will just eliminate them, which I again just cannot abide by. So there's a Fukushima Ruqqus guild. I set up a Ruqqus guild for astrology bloggers. I set one up for natural health and folk healing. Okay, so this is for all the fluoroquinolone poison people or the people interested in natural health to come in and post there and not have to worry about being filtered out of the discussion with the current moderators. And then I set up one also for DIY media and self-publishing. So do-it-yourself media, alternative media that is, done by the individual sort of thing, or by groups that are working together. So I'm going to put the links to these Ruqqus groups in the comments, in the description of this video. But anyway, the thing is that we've gotten to the point where, it's tight, like it's difficult, it's hard to keep going. The site that I'm posting this video on does a shitload of censorship. They remove videos, they delete people's channels, and this is a lot of work that people are putting into this stuff, right? The reason that there's such an intense focus on this now, I think, though, is because we're making such headway, okay? So yes, the general public who kind of think that like CNN and Fox News are telling them the truth, and like that the government can be trusted to give us accurate information, that the World Health Organization is a stand-up kind of body. The people who are still on that level of understanding, are falling right in line with what the powers that be were hoping for with this mass panic, this mass terror, right? They're falling in line as compliant little citizens, and they're looking to the authorities, right? They're looking to the authority figures or the official bodies for what to do. What do we do about this? When the reality is that in most places, it's a non-issue. There isn't even a case of it. If there is a case of it, it's probably just going to run its course as a bad flu. There's so much more going on to this situation. But the beauty of it is that more and more people understand that. More and more people understand. I was just talking to some people as, people are panic buying. It's crazy. They're in the grocery store. I was talking to some people in line, and we were all just kind of laughing a little bit about it, like how crazy it was. And just, we were all agreeing that this is panic that's being driven by the media and by whatever entities control the media, whatever corporate entities, control the media. So, the thing is that panic is not going to serve us. These plans have been in the works for probably centuries, but I mean, definitely decades, right? As far as bringing down the hammer, the control. Astrologically, we have just experienced Saturn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, and that is all about, control through terror, authoritarianism, tyranny, everything being set up like a pyramid scheme of power, where we're looking to these authority figures who are all corrupt and have no business calling themselves our leaders, who do not have humanity's best interests at heart, who do not have life on this planet's best interests in heart, who are intentionally hurting us, who are intentionally driving us into states of, frankly, mental illness, anxiety and panic to the degree that they can't even live their normal lives, their daily lives, right? This is all being generated. It's all being created. It's all being orchestrated. And so the thing is that falling in line with that and responding the way that they want you to respond does not serve you, okay? At the very least, it's friggin' exhausting to work yourself up into that degree of panic all the time, right? So, just try to keep a level head about you. Understand that these are machinations. This is an orchestration. This is basically a global theater piece, okay? A terrible, horrible, hellish global theater piece, right? It's a drill. It's a test to see how much control do they really have. What will people accept in their lives? What kind of control are people going to accept in their lives, right? And where are the leaks? Where are the holes? Where can they crack down on dissenters, crack down on people who aren't falling in line, right? There's potentially a vaccination angle on this situation. There's definitely a stock market turbulence and crash angle. I'm certain the powers that be are well hedged for the type of stock market turbulence that this situation, that the My Sharona situation has created, okay? It was planned, it was orchestrated. They know how people are going to react. They know the type of speculation that'll be going on. And they're positioned for it. They're positioned to cash in, okay, on that. There's an element of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, okay? So they're smart cities and heavily controlled, heavily surveilled cities, okay? Health surveillance. So literally, a sort of technology-based eugenics program is what is going on. There's all of this manipulated garbage, this anti-human, anti-life garbage that is wrapped up in this. And I just wish people could see it. I wish people could understand it. That, you're so much more powerful than this, actually, You really are. And yes, they're using every trick in the book to try to get in our heads, to try to get under our skin. You know, they're using energy weapons against us, and 5G wireless is absolutely an energy weapon that they are trying to roll out on, in this planet. It is a weapon that deoxygenizes your body, so it depletes the oxygen in your body. Okay, which causes, respiratory issues, cardiac issues, kidney issues, fatigue, chronic fatigue, probably immune system suppression, all kinds of ailments are being caused, by this rollout of this horrifyingly toxic energy weapon that people are accepting, although people are not accepting it. Okay, there are tens of thousands of scientists speaking out about this. There are the ex-head of Microsoft is even speaking out about the dangers of 5G. There are citizens groups all over the world protesting 5G and doing whatever's in their power to stop 5G. So again, the appearance they want is that they are in control, okay? But they're not. They're not. You know? The thing is, if they there's nothing they can do to change the hearts and souls and minds of people who really know, of people who really understand the type of evil that's going on this planet. And this fake, manufactured, orchestrated pandemic, this terror that they're creating is part of that evil, okay? They're implanting this stuff in people's brains, right? So my advice to you is turn off your TVs, turn off the radio, don't look at your smartphone, don't look at the internet, or just look at things on the internet that have nothing to do with media or social media. Just literally go about your lives, right? Because other than washing your hands, disinfecting things, maybe avoiding public places, avoiding international travel, there's not all that much, you know what I mean? There's not all that much you can do about it, okay? And I mean, especially if you don't even have any known cases showing up in your area, why are you living in a state of panic? Why are people buying out the grocery store? Why do we look like we're in like a hurricane zone or something where people are just like stocking up like friggin' mad when there's no known case even existing here or anywhere near here? Again, even if there were, that wouldn't be, that wouldn't be enough of a situation to create this mad panic that's going on. So, we have to start seeing through this stuff. As hard as it is, we have to penetrate the fear and the terror that's being created. And we have to face our fears and confront our fears about it, okay? And not let ourselves be manipulated and controlled in these ways. That's really my advice, is to stop hanging on every word that the official bodies are releasing for you. Stop hanging on every new development in the situation. Just take a break from that, okay? Refocus. Focus on other things. Do other things. There are other things that matter. There are other things that are going on right now that you can be of better assistance with. So anyway, that's about that. This has been a little bit of a rambly video. My apologies. Like I said, it's really difficult to penetrate the collective psychic terror and trauma and panic that's going on right now. It really is sort of like communicating through a buzzing static force field or something. It's really crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that about Ruqqus, and let you know that there are alternatives that are popping up for getting information out there. And just, honestly, just for creating a sense of community as well, among people who don't buy it, and among people who don't agree with the level of, well, censorship in general, but definitely the level of censorship that's being brought down on all fronts. So, it is a situation where we, to a certain extent, have to help each other to keep perspective on these things, right? Because it's very easy to get caught up in the kind of the general mindset, the static, get caught up in the static and get sucked into it, right? Get sucked into the panic and the fear and the behaviors that then come with that. So we have to kind of work together to keep ourselves out of that, and to keep feeding ourselves like the good information, the right information, true information that really neutralizes all of this and dispels a lot of what we're being told from official sources, from official bodies. And I think that, who knows how things are actually going to go. But at this time, the creators of Ruqqus are just kind of a couple of people who wanted to create an alternative and who want to sort of align behind an anti-censorship stance. Okay, so at this time, it's one of the alternatives that I'm exploring, and we'll see how things develop.